So we've been having a lot of fun talking about individual altcoins. And with the markets looking like this lately, a lot of investors know how to make money, but a lot of investors don't know how to keep money. And that is because a lot of investors is still waiting for a altcoin season. It all starts with preparation. This is a video that you guys definitely don't want to miss. Before I get deeper into the video though, for anyone that's looking for a great crypto exchange, make sure you check out my link to BTCC. You get 10% bonus on first time deposits, extra bonuses up to $10,000, no VPN, no KYC. If you're someone that trades using leverage, you get to use up to 500x leverage. They've been around for 13 years. Definitely check them out. I'll leave a link down below. All right, so getting into things. So Donald Trump basically resetted the entire crypto space once he started talking about tariffs. He provided an opportunity of a lifetime, but a lot of investors didn't see it that way. There was a lot of panic. A lot of people left the markets completely because they couldn't stand seeing their portfolios go down day after day after day after day. But if you guys had been watching my videos during that time period, then you would have heard me say how it is super important to hold on to those very painful feelings that you are feeling during that time period, because later on it's going to come in handy, which I'll touch on more in just a second. But first, I have a question here. What were you all doing during this time period when Bitcoin went from about $109,000 all the way down to 74K? Were you buying up the dips, or were you just sitting on the sidelines? Were you waiting for some sort of sign? And what was the sign? Were you waiting for Jerome Powell to switch things and all of a sudden start printing money? Just what were you doing? Let me know in the comment section down below. The answer should have been buying up the dips. Now, in previous videos, I have talked about how I would go about buying up the dips. And if you did apply what I had mentioned, then you would have been up nicely on your investments, because you don't want to be buying up the dips every single second. The dips is just going to continue to dip, and eventually you're going to run out of money. But I did talk about how I would approach buying up the dips. Now, the second question here that I have is, what is everyone doing right now that we're seeing Bitcoin rally? Not only Bitcoin, some of these altcoins, not all of them, but some of these altcoins have rallied significantly. We've seen like a 2x, 3x, 4x, or even more than that in some of these altcoins, right? But what have you been doing during this pump phase on Bitcoin? What have you been doing? Have you been buying or sitting on the sidelines? Are you doing the complete opposite than what you did during this time period back here? You see, the correct answer should be you've been taking profits during Bitcoin's recent rally. But a lot of investors don't know how to take profits, or they're just afraid to take profits because they don't want to sell and then the coin continues to rally without them. One reason why I believe people should be taking profits is because you never know what's going to happen in the overall crypto space. I want you guys to check this out right here that was posted recently. So Sui recently got hacked. So Sui and its ecosystems was just plummeting. Sui actually didn't crash as badly as most would expect, because right now Sui is sitting at $3.93, but during that crash, this thing went all the way down to $3.77. But if the markets wasn't looking like this today, who knows how hard Sui would have actually come down. I've seen what hacks can do to a crypto project. Take a look at something like this one right here. Harmony One got hacked a few years back, and it hasn't really exploded because of that hack. So hacks can really destroy a crypto project. And this is why, even though you could be holding a coin in your crypto portfolio that you think has a 100x potential, you don't know what's going to happen. What if it gets hacked and then it crashes and doesn't recover like Sui? Sui's got a lot of big names backing it, and they want to see that project succeed. And this is why Sui is actually performing pretty well after that hack. But the coin that you hold, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. And again, this is why taking profits is extremely important, no matter what coin you hold and no matter how bullish you are on the coin. Now, if you're someone that refused to take profits on any coins because you're still waiting for a serious altcoin season, I mean, on the index here, we see we're currently at a 27 out of 100, and you believe that this is going to flip to maybe an 80 out of 100 or 100 out of 100. Who really knows, right? But you believe that there's going to be an altcoin season and you're just waiting patiently. I personally think that you are kind of kidding yourself, because the reality is most of us don't know if there's going to be a proper altcoin season. So we should not be focused on an altcoin season anymore. There's just way too many coins in the crypto space. Right now, we should be focused on the right coins that's in the right narratives, have the right community, the right hype, because those are the coins that's going to rally the most. And the name of the game is to make as much money as we possibly can during this bull cycle. This isn't a bull cycle to be falling in love with any coin in your crypto portfolio. This is a bull cycle to fall in love with making the most amount of money. So we got to follow the trail, follow where the big money, where the whales is actually putting their money, and where will they potentially put their money next. That's what we need to be paying very close attention to. So AI, RWA, memes, coins made in the US is going to be very hot for 2025. But like I said earlier, making the money is going to be the easy part. The hardest part is going to be keeping the money. So now let's get into keeping the money. The first thing that you guys need to understand is that this space is typically driven by emotions. This is why people panic sell. This is why people catches FOMO, and your emotions have to be completely in check if you're going to make it in the crypto space. So you need to understand that. The second thing you need to understand is that there's always going to be someone that's extremely bullish on a specific coin, and if they do a good enough job, they're going to be able to convince you not to sell. They're going to be able to convince you not to take profits. And if you ever listen to someone telling you not to take profits and hold on, we're going to only go up from here, then you're going to find yourself in a situation where this coin went from $3.10 all the way down to about 23 cents. So you don't want that to happen to you this bull cycle. So you got to keep your emotions in check. You have to conduct your own research, and you need to understand the reality of market caps. Some people still don't understand market caps, and this is why they go up and down with the ship. They'll see something sitting at a market cap over 20 billion and be convinced that that coin is going to go up to $1 trillion market cap, and that's because they don't understand market cap. Market cap is one of, if not the most important thing when it comes to investing. So, for example, if you're someone that only invests in meme coins, it's easy to say, well, if this coin reaches a market cap of Dogecoin's market cap last bull cycle, I'm going to get super rich. But the reality of that is it probably won't, because the law of diminishing returns, let's be honest here, all right? Last cycle was completely different. There were fewer coins, fewer meme coins than this cycle. So we can't be comparing anything to Dogecoin this cycle. We should only be comparing these meme coins to the top performing meme coin of this cycle, which reached a market cap of around 10 billion. This is a cycle where I believe people need to be a little bit more realistic and don't just come up with some random price targets. You need something to actually compare these coins to. Now, once you've found your comparison coin, you need to figure out how you're going to be taking profits on the way up to the market cap of that comparable coin. So for this example, I'm going to talk about SEI versus SWI. Right now, SEI is sitting at a $1.3 billion market cap. SWI is sitting around a $13 billion market cap. So if you're going to be getting into SEI and feeling like SEI could one day flip or potentially reach the market cap of SWI, you need to understand how to take your profits on the way up to a $13 billion market cap. So let me show you guys how I would actually go about taking profits on SEI here. So remember, we are working with a market cap of 13 billion, which is the market cap of SWI. So if we come over here to Coin Perspective, that is a upside of 905% for SEI, and that will bring the price target to around 2.45, so $2.45 for SEI if it was to reach the price target of SWI. So let's get back into this chart over here and talk about things. So first, if I'm looking to get SWI for the very first time, I need to look at where SWI actually, or sorry, where SEI actually bottomed out at. And SEI actually bottomed out around 13 cents. So it's up basically a 2x from where say actually bottomed out at. So what I would do if I'm really looking to load the boat, I would need to get say on a pullback, and the pullback here looks like it's going to be around 22 cents. Around 22 cents, if I wanted to, I could load the boat here on say, maybe put in 75% of the amount that I want to put in. And if say it was to ever fall back down to 13 cents, I would put in the rest, right? And which would obviously equal the 100% of the amount that I want to put into say, okay? And I'm going to be taking profits on the way up. If I had loaded the boat, so I have the amount that I want to put into say, then by the time I double my investment, so let's just make the math easy and say was sitting at 20 cents when I got in. By the time say it reached 40 cents, that's where I am looking to take out my initial investment, because again, you never know what's going to happen. Maybe something happens with say that's not good whatsoever, and then say come tumbling down. So at 40 cents, I take out my initial investment, no matter how bullish I am on say. Then I ride this thing all the way up. But even though I'm riding it all the way up, the next time I'm going to be taking out profits on say is going to be after say have reached about a 3x. So that's when the price is around 80 cents. And after that, I can just let the rest ride until it reaches about $13 billion market cap. But it all depends on what's going on in the overall crypto market. Is say continuing to build? Is say doing the right moves? Like it all just depends. But if I'm super bullish on say, I'm going to take profits at 40 cents. I'm going to take profits again at 80 cents. Remember, my initial investment was at 20 cents, right? So take profits at 40 cents. Take profits at 80 cents, and then I'm just going to let the rest ride, and hopefully say reaches a $13 billion market cap, which brings the price target to $2.45. And at $2.45, I would probably cash out everything. If I notice that the volume is continuing to go down, but the price continues to go up. The volume predicts price. Always remember that. This is how I got lucky in cashing out last bull cycle before everything came crashing all the way down. I noticed that the volume on Bitcoin was coming all the way down, but the price on Bitcoin was going up. To me, that was a very, very big red flag. And at that point, you need to realize that you need to take everything out, or you need to take even more profits than you normally would. So pay attention to the volume. Don't pay attention to the noise. Always remember that. Pay attention to the volume. Don't pay attention to the noise. Because if a coin goes up, someone's going to be like, I told you you should have gotten into this coin. But if a coin goes down, they're going to be like, why did you even listen to me? It's just the reality of things. I've seen this time and time again. Remember, guys, nothing here is financial advice. Make sure you guys do your own research. But if you're going to make explosive returns in the crypto space, you need to understand that it's all mental. You need to keep your emotions in check. You have to take profits on the way up. If you can get your initial investment out as soon as possible, I would definitely do it. Look to get things off of support levels. Make sure, or try to get things at the bottom, as close to the bottom on the charts as possible. That's where you can actually load the boat so that you can take your initial investment out after you've done a 2x and let the rest ride. All right, that's the best approach that I think people should be doing. And remember, hold on to those painful mistakes that you made in crypto, because that's what's going to help guide you into making better decisions moving forward. Not everybody learned from their mistakes, but if you can be different than most people that is not willing to learn from their mistakes, you're going to be one of those investors that ends up laughing all the way to the bank by the time this bull cycle is over. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Check out a few of the links also that I have down below. And until next time, take care.